in terms of navigating with older adults, specifically with older adults who have dementia, is there some advice that you can give to us, those of us who are trying to establish or maintain relationships between those older generations and younger people?
I love this question because it's so important to have intergenerational connections. And a lot of times those are the first to go. I've worked with many families where they say, maybe mom has been asking some questions that are inappropriate, or she keeps repeating herself. And I'm worried this is going to be stressful for the grandkids. So I stopped bringing them around. And that's really damaging for both the grandkids and the grandparents. It's hard. I understand the situation. It's really hard. And it comes from a place of wanting to protect, but it can cut off relationships that are actually really valuable on both sides. I often find that kids are much more forgiving, much more generous when people are repeating themselves, especially if you're explaining the why behind them, or giving them even very simple tips on how to keep the conversation going. We actually have one of our scientific advisory board members, Dr. Ann Basting. She's developed a beautiful program, Time Slips. So we use Time Slips a lot. Time Slips is they have the imagination kit. So these are a series of cards with pictures on them, and they're kind of ambiguous pictures. So it might be like a dog riding in a car with its head sticking out of the window. And these cards are meant to fuel conversation that feels safe without judgment. And so you might say, hey, what's going on in this picture? And whatever the person says, even if it makes no sense, you validate. And then, did I get that right? And you kind of echo back what you heard, and then you keep it going. And you're asking open-ended questions, and you're not telling the person, no, you're wrong. No, you don't remember. And I've seen that actually this program work really well when you do have kids and older adults together. And so I think that as long as kids or someone who's younger, they're being equipped with, hey, when you go in, there might be some changes. This person might be interacting a little bit differently than you're used to. Here's what makes them feel good, and here's what doesn't feel good. Setting people up for success. So having the grandkids know, Grandpa doesn't really want to talk about Grandma. So if that, don't ask him about that. That's going to upset him. Kind of letting them know what the triggers are, letting them know what topics are great. They're safe. They're wins. Talk to Grandpa about the Niners again. Ask him how the game was, and whatever he says, just agree with him. Get him talking about football. Those types of prompts can just really help more successful conversations.